go sponsor early. Hey cruisers, welcome to our live stream. It's so wonderful to be back with all of you here. Thank you so much to those of you who jumped in the chat early. Loved catching up a little bit and seeing who's here today and how everyone is doing. Today's live stream vlog is brought to you by cruiseline.com, where you can find verified reviews, tips and photos from real everyday cruisers. We love our partnership with them. They are an awesome source of information, and they saved us on our last cruise. We did so much research there, read reviews, read the forums, looked at photos for Grand Princess, and absolutely loved it. Want to let everyone know what we are doing here today on our live stream. We are going to start with an update on Hurricane Irma, and we are then going to discuss our cruise on the Grand Princess. We're going to give you guys a post-cruise update. Wanted to say hello to those of you who are here in the chat early. It's great to see so many familiar faces and some new ones as well. Of course, we have Cheryl and Sharon and the Katie Sexton. Rachel Adler is here. Rachel is actually a casino dealer on board a cruise ship and is on a cruise ship right now. They have outrun the storm, and I don't know exactly where Rachel is, but welcome, Rachel. I'm so glad that you could make it, and I'm so glad that your cruise line is providing you with complimentary internet during this very difficult situation. Mike and Cheryl, great to see you guys. Wonderful to have you. Shrim79 is here. Thank you guys so much for spending the middle of your Saturday with us, depending on where you live. We're in California, and this is the middle of our Saturday. So it's still really, really hot in California. When we were on our cruise, where we live in Central California was experiencing a massive heat wave. When I got internet service on Grand Princess, I would look at the weather for where we live, and it was 107 degrees. Now, with that said, know that where we live, a lot of people do not have air conditioning. We have air conditioning, and it works okay. It's not a fabulous air conditioner. It's like one unit. A good unit, but when we came home from our cruise in the middle of the day last week, our house was 85 degrees just standing still. So we're really glad that some of that heat has passed, and we are very much looking forward to fall. I can't say fall is in the air yet, but we're very much looking forward to it. So wanted to say hello to all of you who are coming into the chat. It looks like we have a lot of new people coming in. Probably will not get to say hello to all of you today, but I do see Gail, Lee Jack, hi, Stephen, Eddie, Cruising with Wheels, Christina, lots of you just popped in, so hello everyone. Just to reiterate, we're going to do a quick Hurricane Irma update, and we're then going to discuss our cruise on the Grand Princess, talk to you guys all about our experience, why we chose that cruise, what we did on the cruise, and even some of the highlights, kind of a pros and cons type of approach to the cruise, and you are welcome to ask any questions. Mr. Cruise Tips TV is going to be keeping an eye on the chat for any questions that you may have, and I will try to catch all of your questions. We're going to try to give priority to questions about Alaska or Grand Princess today, or Princess Cruises to Alaska if we can, since that's our topic, but you're certainly welcome to ask any and all questions. So most of you have been following the news and know what's going on with Hurricane Irma. And my understanding right now is that Hurricane Irma is sort of passing over Cuba. Unfortunately, it has devastated the island of Barbuda. There's been extensive damage to St. Martin, and it looks like St. Thomas and St. John were hit too. I have not been able to find out information about how things are looking for Turks and Caicos. If anyone has any idea how that island fared, please do let us know. But first and foremost, our hearts go out to everyone affected by this, and to those of you who are in Florida and in the path of the storm, who are waiting and really just don't know what's going to happen. We're thinking about you. I think everyone's thinking about you is all we can really think about right now, and just want everyone to know that we care, and if there's anything that we can do here with our family or our little cruising community here at Cruise Tips TV, please do let us know. Also, very much a sad story out of Texas. We've been thinking of everyone who was affected by Harvey. We were on the cruise and didn't really get very many good updates about that until we got back, and we're just so saddened by the devastation there in that Houston area. I know that many places outside of Houston are affected as well. there's a nonprofit organization who, in our area here in California, that's traveled all the way out there to help people. And we've really been enjoying watching their Facebook page and all of the work that they're doing in some of the more rural outlying areas of Houston to help people out with providing food, shelter, and cleanup. So thank you all so much. I know this is a serious, difficult topic, but it's important and it affects the cruise industry greatly. And, without knowing how Miami and Fort Lauderdale, especially in South Florida, are going to be affected by this and how all of your cruise itineraries are going to be affected, we think it's very important to talk about it. I saw something yesterday that I thought was really critical to share with everybody, and that was a post on Instagram from Allianz Travel. They are a travel insurance organization, and they posted an update on what to do if you are in the path of this hurricane and you are insured by Allianz. So this is Allianz Travel US on Instagram. And what they said, they were acknowledging the fact that Hurricane Irma is a very dangerous storm. And they said that Hurricane Irma became a known event on August 30th. Customers who purchased their travel insurance policy before that date may be eligible for coverage under their trip cancellation or interruption or travel delay benefits, but they want you to read your travel policy very carefully to see what's covered. Some important tips from a travel insurance company that I thought were very worthy of sharing on today's live stream are: number one, you should contact your travel suppliers before you cancel your trip. Some travel suppliers may allow you to change your trip without penalty. Now, they're not just talking necessarily about cruise passengers, they're talking about people who are traveling in general. They are not necessarily just targeting cruise passengers here, but I think that's an excellent tip. The first thing we should do if we're affected, our cruise is affected, is get on the phone and call the cruise line to find out what's going on. Then they go on to say that if you are able to alter the dates of your trip, they will change the dates of your travel insurance policy to correspond to your new dates of travel. And you just need to visit the whatever travel insurance website. And of course, you should always take your travel insurance card with you when you travel. So I wanted to share that with everyone in case anyone is affected with an upcoming cruise, that if you do have travel insurance, definitely get in touch with your travel insurance company for guidance now. I think that's a very good idea. And I know this has been a total eye-opener for me that, I'm constantly getting the question, should I buy travel insurance? And a lot of times I tell people you should if this and if that. But I really have never mentioned to people you should buy travel insurance if you're traveling during peak hurricane season in the Atlantic or the Caribbean. And that is something that I think we've been reminded season after season that that's the case. But I think that's very important that we do insure our trips, especially during these more high-risk months of, August to October, which we know are very commonly dangerous times for cruisers and people who live in that area. So if anyone has any questions, please do let me know. I'd like to jump in and see what kind of questions are coming in from the chat. Bonnie, I'm very glad to know that you're here. You guys, Bonnie Bergstein, who's here in the chat, I don't think she'll mind me saying that she lives in Florida, and we are certainly thinking about her and tracking her progress. She and her fur babies. Bonnie, glad you're here, glad you're safe so far. Please do keep us posted. We're going to kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about Alaska now and our cruise on Grand Princess. We have so much to talk about, you guys. So before I do that, do you see any questions that have come in so far, Mr. Cruise Tips TV, that I should address before we talk about it?
Not about Alaska, but
okay.
There are questions like, what if your ports of destination for your cruise get damaged?
Right. Okay, so what if your port or destination for your cruise gets damaged? Now, most of the time, the cruise line, what they'll try to do rather than just canceling your cruise outright, although they have canceled many cruises this last week completely because the embarkation ports are in a state of uncertainty, so that can happen. But usually what they will do is after the storm has passed and they determine the effects that it's had on those particular ports, they will probably try to change your port stops to accommodate keeping the cruise going, but to give you fresh new port stops. And they may or may not give you the option to cancel for full refund based on those changes. Your cruise contract stipulates that they can make changes at any time to any port. So you want to be sure to catch that early. If you are dissatisfied with the port that they reassign you in the event of damage, you definitely need to get on the horn immediately, call the cruise company, find out what your options are. Bobby Nelson said, are you guys travel agents? If not, why not? Bobby, no, we are not travel agents. Why not? Because I have a full-time corporate job and I couldn't possibly take on anything more. I think I actually, I would have loved to have been a travel agent. That is not the path that I chose, but I think it would have been really fun and it would have been a great career path for me. So, you know, maybe in another life, you never know, right? I see lots of questions coming in here, so I'm going to try to get to some of those. I saw someone asking why excursions in Alaska are so expensive. That is a very complex question. I'm going to answer it to the best of my ability, but I can say that from my knowledge, they're expensive for a number of reasons. Number one, there is a high demand for it. So the law of supply and demand would dictate that if a lot of people want to go, that there's a lot of demand for it, that you can charge more. However, in talking with tour providers in Alaska, one of the main reasons is because they have to be insured, and that insurance is extremely expensive. Can you even imagine what it would cost if you were a zip line operator or a tour boat operator operating in the United States to insure that business? It must be very expensive, and it is in the United States. Many of us are used to sailing to foreign countries, Mexico, the Caribbean, where there's less regulation and there's less requirements for insurance and things like that, and it just costs less for them to do business. So that's my understanding of why that is. So yeah. Oh, hi, Brady and Val. Great to see you guys here. Guys, Brady and Val have a wonderful LuLaRoe shop on Facebook. I tried to share it the other night when you guys had the live Shop the Box, but it doesn't let me share to my page. But many of the clothes that you've seen me wear on my Carnival Miracle cruise and that you're going to be seeing on our Alaska cruise are from Val and Brady, and I've fallen in love with their LuLaRoe shop over the last year. So hi, guys. Glad to have you here. Cruising with Wheels is seconding my answer. Insurance and supply and demand. LOL. Yes, that's pretty much the truth. Alice Andrus is asking, how did your camera work out on this cruise? Looking forward to seeing your pictures. Alice, that is such a good question.
Which one?
What's that? Which one? I think you're talking about the Lumix, right? The new Lumix that we bought that was supposed to be our vlogging camera. We did a review of it on our Cruise Gear channel before we sailed. It's a fantastic camera that has two major flaws. The biggest flaw, and we knew about this going in, but it was a problem on our cruise, is it has no external mic input-output, so we can't vlog with a microphone. So as you guys know, we always have a mic when we're vlogging or doing live streams or whatever because we want to give you good sound quality. Well, this one, you have to use a secondary microphone, so something that's not connected to the camera, meaning that when my husband edits, he then has to sync the audio to the video, and it's extra step. The quality of the images and the video is spectacular. So we didn't use it as much as we wanted to for vlogging because I am an extremely impatient person. Just gonna put it right out there, folks. I wanna pick up that camera, I wanna hold it out in front of me, I wanna press go because I'm in the moment, I have something to say. I don't want to take out the microphone, start the microphone, power it up, hook it to my belt, and then get the camera out. I'm just too impatient, so I didn't use it very much. But we love it. We've just got to figure this out, and we're going to stay with it, okay? So, great camera, though. If you're doing stills, spectacular. Our son used the Lumix to film the bears on, was it the Lumix? Was he using the Lumix to film the bears? In Ketchikan on our voyage there, so that was really awesome. So anyhow, Cruise Week TV here says insurance is so cheap, it's worth it. Yes, thank you guys. Welcome, by the way. Glad to have you here. You know, it really is. You got to do it. You got to have it. It's a must, a must, a must. Any other questions that you see coming in that I can answer before we jump over?
I have a couple of good ones.
Good.
I really like this one from Michael Skidmore. He says, my birthday is in 2 weeks this month. I am turning 18. How was White Pass Railway?
Oh, Michael Skidmore wants to know, how was the White Pass Railway? Michael, happy almost birthday to you. The White Pass Railway was an absolute highlight of our trip. We had contacted the White Pass Railway beforehand because we wanted permission to film while we were on board the railway, and they treated us like gold. I cannot wait for you guys to see the vlog from our day in Skagway. I'm almost getting choked up thinking about it because the White Pass Rail is the trip of a lifetime. It's beautiful, it's scenic, but that's not what makes it special. What makes it special is the people on that train, you guys, the conductor, the brakemen, the tour operators. That organization is very special. And It is a must-do in Skagway. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Our whole family had just the most magical time. The care that they put into those trains and their safety record and just the pride that they take in their operation is pretty amazing. So we're really excited to show you that vlog. It's going to be a while. It's probably going to be a good, I don't know, do you think it'll take a month maybe to get that one out? My poor husband. It's a lot of editing. So we've got a lot of vlogs coming to you guys. I'm ready for another question.
Okay, a while ago, Jim Burke asked, he would like to hear whether we buy our insurance through the cruise line or independently.
We buy our insurance through our travel agent through a different company. The last company that we used was, I believe, Travel Guard. It's much cheaper not to buy it through the cruise line, so that's what I would recommend. And there's different levels of insurance that you could buy. You know, you can buy very premium levels, or you can buy lesser levels of it. We tend to we tend to buy more of a mid-level for ourselves, but my mom will buy the most premium level because she's a bit older. She's in her 70s, and there's more at stake for her, more chances that she may cancel, and more things that could come up for her. So she will buy more of the premium type of insurance. Yeah, I'm ready.
Megan Spuck wants to know, and this is probably a question for everyone out there,
Okay.
if Galveston is ready for cruising after Harvey.
Okay. Does anyone know if Galveston is back up and running and ready for cruising for, I would assume, embarkation and debarkation as a port for Harvey? I actually don't know, and I would love to hear the answer to that. Thank you very much.
One from Barbara Schulman.
Mm-hmm.
Do you purchase your insurance, or can you purchase your insurance after final payment?
My understanding is that you can, but it has to be done within a very limited period of time after final payment. I want to say it's something like a week or two after, so hopefully someone can jump into the chat and answer that for her specifically, but I think you can, but it has to be pretty quickly after final payment. Yeah.
Okay, and then our friend Vicki Lawson.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Vicki. Hi, Duffy.
Yeah, Duffy wants to know what our son's favorite activity was on the Alaskan cruise.
Oh, I need to ask him what it was.
And did he go to the kids club?
Oh, Duffy.
I can tell you that jumping in puddles was one of his favorite.
Duffy. Yeah, my husband just said it. One of his favorite activities was jumping in puddles, and guess who didn't pack him enough shoes? So he had these like little Nike sneakers, and they're really like well ventilated. I think I talked about this a little bit in the vlog last week too. And his feet were really wet, and it wasn't our son that was upset. It was us, because we felt bad because we knew that he was going to be getting wet early in the day and cold. Our weather, Duffy, was super duper rainy on this cruise. So I think he liked that. Okay, you wanted to know if he went to the kids club. We checked it out probably 10 times, and he never actually went in.
He stood in front of the door.
He stood in front of the door. He checked it out. And he was kind of like, you know, sometimes he saw him playing video games and he thought it was cool, but there was this little incident that happened where there were two kind of bigger kids. He's 8, and he would be scheduled to go in with the 8 to 12-year-olds, but he's relatively short. So he was a little intimidated, I think, by the older kids. But the first time we went, he was standing there, Duffy, at the door, and he saw kids playing video games, and one of the kids bapped the other kid in the head. He gave him a smack. And it upset my son. He's like, Mom, the kid hit the other kid, and he didn't want to go in after that. I don't really think that kid hit the other kid. We think they were really comfortable with each other, maybe brothers, and it was my husband saw it, and he said, I think it was an accident. But we're going to just let him do it when he's ready. I will say, Duffy, this is the closest he's ever got. And the kids club was super cool, you guys, on Grand Princess. It's totally renovated. So they did a Discovery at Sea theme, and they're beautiful. The kids clubs they join together, even though they're separate in the back, if that makes sense. So I think if he could have been with the littler kids, he would have been really happy. He would have probably loved to have been in with like the 3 to 7-year-olds. That would have made him really happy. But anyway, we tried. Zachary, you're not that late. We've only been rolling for about 20 minutes. Have we already been rolling for 20 minutes? Oh my gosh. Okay. You guys, one of our subscribers on the question that I want to throw out there, Paul LaFleur on Facebook wants to know if anybody knows of any all-inclusives in Grand Cayman for day pass. So please let me know in the comments. And Mr. Cruise Tips TV, if you see anything coming in, let me know. Bonnie is asking if we saw puppies in the piazza. Bonnie, My heart is broken a little tiny bit because we missed it. So after we went on the White Pass Rail, we went on the White Pass Rail at 12:45 and we got back at 4:30. I didn't realize that Puppies in the Piazza was at 5 o'clock that day, and we missed it because guess who wanted to go buy a beer? Me. I had to have a beer. Someone told me about this great beer in Skagway, and I went for it, and we totally missed it. And I saw the pictures of people holding the puppies. They took pictures of people, and they put them in the photo gallery, and the puppies were so scrumptious. Not scrumptious, adorable. I'm not going to eat puppies, but anyway, oh my gosh, they looked so adorable. Everyone had them right up to their faces too. They let you hold them. So I really want to do that next time. And I know my son would have liked it. My son was pretty cool with it. He didn't freak out. I thought for sure he was going to be really bummed about missing it, but he was okay. It was so cute though, you guys. So anyway, oh, Roberto, what a great question. When you sail to Alaska on Carnival, are the water slides open? I feel like it's pointless to sail on a ship with multiple slides if they're all closed. I don't know. I've never sailed on Carnival to Alaska, but I think that they probably do open them at some point, but they probably close them down during sea days when it gets really windy, cold, and rainy because they know nobody's going to be on them. Are you nodding?
Yeah, if
Mr.
it's
Cruz?
cold, they'll keep them open, but if it's windy, they'll shut.
Okay, Mr. Cruise Tips TV sounds like he has a bit of information on this. He said if it's cold, they'll keep them open, but if it's cold and windy, they may not. So, Duffy wants to know if we saw any whales. Duffy, we did. We went on a whale watching excursion in Juneau, and we saw whales. We wanted to see them a little closer up than we did, but that's just the way that it goes. So we did. We saw gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful whales. It was rainy and foggy that day, so our pictures aren't going to be spectacular. But Duffy, you might want to watch our vlog from the Juneau day when it comes out if you want to see the whales. I think that Mr. Cruise Tips TV got some decent video of them. Would you say you got some decent video, pal?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Great. Awesome. Excellent question. Well, you guys are already kind of... you're already covering some of the things we're going to cover today, so I'm glad that we've got rolling on this. Rachel said, since you were on a mid-level line, what sort of special activities did they have during sea days? That's a great question, Rachel. And I actually have all of the patters from the entire cruise right here, and we'll get those scanned in, but they had so many different activities. Let me give you an idea of some of them real quick, okay? All right, some sample activities from sea days would be, let's see, we can start in the morning. We would... 9 o'clock was Zumba. I mean, there was hundreds of activities. 9 a.m. was the Knitters and Natters get together. They had a morning ping pong channel. They had Encounters with Discovery, a naturalist view of Alaska, free fitness classes, country line dance classes, a GoPro seminar. By the way, most of the stuff I'm reading out, you guys, is actually free, included with your cruise. They had a casino introduction to blackjack, Rachel. Go figure. They had movies. They had the Lego Batman movie. How cool is that? Under the Stars on the Sea Day. This is all before 10 a.m., by the way. Look at this. I mean, it's crazy. They have so much stuff, you guys. They had a trivia challenge, Harry Potter trivia, acupuncture introduction, a North to Alaska gold nugget bracelet making class, an egg drop challenge, snowball jackpot bingo, the British pub lunch. Yum. We did that. That was amazing. And that is where we met our new friends, Jen and Scott, who are from California as well. They're truck drivers. And we got to see them there. It was awesome. They had a ballroom blitz dance class. They had a bridge and mahjong players get together. They had piano classics. And this is still before lunch, you guys. They had an art auction. And improve your posture class. They had this really cool thing called North to Alaska Loggerheads. It was like a presentation on what it means to be a logger in Alaska. They had, let's see, more movies, happy hour in the Wheelhouse Bar from 3 to 4. Buy one drink, get the same for $1. Let me tell you, that is an amazing deal, you guys. And the drinks on Princess are so reasonable. So I did that too late in the cruise. I couldn't get there for some reason on sea days, but this is every day. Buy a drink, get another one for $1. And their drinks are only like $9. So it was a really good deal. So many things to do. There were just, I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, look at this. It's like an amazing amount. So sorry about that, honey. Hope I didn't mess up the white balance just now when I held that up. So very cool. Yeah, making you want to go on a princess cruise again. It's awesome, you guys. Zachary wants to know what my favorite meal was during the cruise. I was going to get to that. You guys you're getting all my topics. This is so great. Zachary, my favorite meal on the cruise was on the second to last night in the main dining room. They served crab legs, not just frozen, gross crab legs from the freezer section at your grocery store. We're talking high quality crab leg perfection. And to save my husband from getting crab flung in his hair while I enjoyed my crab, which is a kind of a mild word for how I felt about that crab, they split the crab legs for you down the middle. So they're literally like these little half dome crab things. You take your fork and you just lift the crab out and dip it in the butter. Oh my gosh, Zachary. Best crab I've ever had in my entire life, and I asked them to bring me a double portion. I didn't even touch any of the food that was under it. So they brought it in this giant bowl, and it had like potatoes and corn, and the potatoes and corn just sat there. They got no love, and I just completely massacred that crab. And the waiter was like, do you want more? And I'm like, no, really, it's okay. The double portion already was enough, but I could have had another bowl of it and had no shame. It was so good. The other thing I wanted to let you know, Zachary, if you like crab, is that they had only one day on the cruise, and I think it was one of the sea days where I met Joan, our quilting friend who we met on this cruise. They had Tracy's king crab cakes at the Trident Bar and Grill, which is known as the Lido Deck Burger Joint, which is sort of out on one of the open decks. Phenomenal. They were so good that my son ate the crab cakes, and he's not a big seafood lover. He'll dabble in seafood, but he was literally grabbing it and dipping it in the sauce and just mowing it. They're deep fat fried, but they're not greasy, and they were just exceptional. So that would be a tip. All right, Mary, I'm sorry I'm making you hungry for crab. It was so good. Deanne, I don't think that was Alaskan king crab. It might have been snow crab, but it was so delicate and beautiful. I didn't buy any crab on shore because we had spent a lot of money on this cruise already, and I really had to budget. Once we got going on the cruise, I had to really rein it in. So I couldn't just go drop $30 on a crab leg without kind of feeling guilty about it. So, and I knew it was going to be something they offered on the ship, so I just enjoyed it that way. Zachary, I did not have a single steak on this cruise. I just didn't feel like meat. I had seafood almost every single day. It was really weird and not like me. My husband did have a steak one night, and he said it was really good. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm not missing anything, you guys. A couple of things about what's going on with us and what's coming. So you guys probably saw our last couple of videos, right? We did our vlog from the sea, and no, I was not wearing a robe. That blue thing is a kimono dress. Sorry, it did look like a robe. And I wore the same thing in our inside cabin organizational video, but it is a dress. And when you see our outfit of the day or what I wore videos coming later, when I wear it with proper evening shoes, you will see that it is a dress and not a robe. But anyway, that was pretty funny. On our cruise gear channel, we did the review of the new Lumix camera, and we also talked about our outerwear before we went to Alaska, and I can't wait to tell you how it fared. It was great, by the way. Also wanted to let you guys know that for those of you who follow the Cruise Dudes, their next Seawind Mag issue is coming out very soon. So if you don't already have the app, make sure you download it. You can buy one issue or you can buy an annual one. I have the annual one. It's going to be a good one. So look for that coming up very soon. Also, you guys, we're dreaming up something really special in October that we're going to try, something we've never done before. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet because it's a big commitment, and we have to make the commitment before we do it, but I think you guys are going to love it and have a lot of fun with it. So stay tuned for October. We're hoping to wow you in October. Our next cruise, just so everyone knows, is on Princess Cruises. We're going to the Panama Canal in November. So that's going to be really exciting. I'm sorry, I've got a little itchy eye. My mom is joining us on that cruise. We are so excited to spend some quality time with her and to explore the ports there. So we have got to talk about Grand Princess and give you guys the skinny. We're already a half an hour in, and I really need to tell you more. You're going to be able to see all of the stuff that we did because we have vlogs on vlogs on vlogs coming to you guys. We did do daily vlogging on this cruise, and there's a lot coming. So where did we go? We went to Alaska on a 10-night cruise on Grand Princess, round trip from San Francisco. We drove to San Francisco. We parked in the lot called 80 Francisco Street, which is basically your only option. It is incredibly expensive at $16 per day, and they parked us on the top, meaning our car was exposed the whole time to the elements, which really kind of irked me because we had hoped that for that amount of money that at least we'd be in covered parking. So whatever, nothing we can do about it. We were in an inside cabin, which you guys know it's a big no-no to book an inside cabin to Alaska. You really need a balcony. If you can get a balcony, you should save for it. However, for us, because we have done this before, and if we had to book a balcony, we just simply would not have been able to afford to go, we opted to book inside cabin. I was blending the word cabin and balcony, right? A732, which was an aft inside cabin on the Aloha deck. One of the reasons why we did that was because it was very close to a door that led to the back pool deck, to the terrace pool, which is a lovely pool. So we basically had a little escape route. So rather than having to go up one level and out to the pool deck or something like that, we would literally open our cabin door, and about 20 feet from our cabin was this instant door out to the terrace pool, which is a very quiet pool. It's an adult pool. So we could go out there, we could film little spots. I could show you my outfit of the day. We could get some fresh air after dinner. I could catch the sunrise in the morning and have my coffee. Fantastic. If you have to get an inside cabin, do it on Aloha deck. You're only one deck below the buffet. There's really no noise issues, and it was fantastic. So that's a little bit of information about our cabin. I want to just check and see if anybody else has any questions about that. Let's see here. Some people talking about crab excursions that you did. Oh yes, you did a crab excursion in Ketchikan. That sounds really good. All you can eat crab lunch, Bonnie, count me in. That sounds wonderful. All right. So what we did on our cruise was pretty extensive. I'm so thankful that we had so many sea days on this voyage because we wore ourselves out in ports, you guys. I cannot even tell you how much we had planned. It was crazy. So I'm going to go port by port and tell you all about it. In Ketchikan, we connected with Spirit of Alaska Tours, and they hooked us up with an awesome bear country and wildlife tour. So what we did is we went out to Herring Cove, which is about a 20-minute drive, 8 miles coastal from the cruise terminal. They include the transportation, and we got to walk along a kind of an elevated boardwalk that is right in the middle of a beautiful foresty area and look for bears. And we saw loads of bears. We saw a bear right underneath the boardwalk, just feet from us, you guys, feet from us, eating a salmon. And it was actually, you see these things on TV, you watch National Geographic, you see the bears cramming the salmon in their mouth and everything, right? But this was like a graphic and almost disturbingly close-up view of a bear gutting the salmon with its nail and eating the fish eggs. Apparently, the bears only eat about 30% of the entire fish. They kind of do what they may with the fish, and then they leave it for the other wildlife, and then you see like gulls coming and snacking on the rest of it. So it was fascinating. I would highly recommend the Bear Country and Wildlife Tour with Spirit of Alaska. It's a very short but beautiful, scenic, and pleasant ride from the cruise pier. There are other cruise passengers that went. We did not book through the cruise line. We booked directly through them. We then had lunch. When we got back to Ketchikan, we were starving because we'd had a very long day. We were supposed to go ziplining in Herring Cove before we went, but unfortunately, you'll see in the vlogs, our son was too little. And again, here we're in America. We're not in Mexico. They were concerned the harness wouldn't fit. He was too low weight, even though we thought we had kind of settled that before the cruise. He couldn't go. So we just hung out and went on the earlier Bear Country and Wildlife. They got us earlier transportation back. And we had lunch at Annabelle's in Ketchikan. Didn't love it. Wasn't that great. I'm not going to recommend that restaurant. I'm sorry. My husband ordered salmon tacos, and they literally put like all the toppings in the taco, and then they sprinkled a little bit of salmon on top. It was the weirdest thing. So I don't like to speak negatively about anything, but I just was really disappointed, and those were $17 tacos, so that was kind of a bummer. So moving on to something happier, Juneau was amazing. So our goal in Juneau, you guys, we had a mission, and our mission was to see how much our family could do in one day in Juneau, because I think Juneau is an awesome family destination. So we had kind of set out to say, okay, how can we do this? So we reached out to Travel Juneau, which is kind of the visitors bureau there. And they have so much information on their website. So we kind of got to looking and got some advice from them on how we could maximize that trip. And they connected us with this tour called The Best of Juneau. And it is really cool, you guys. You get to go, you start your day off at Mendenhall Glacier, and you have about an hour there. So you can take little hikes and see the visitor center, but you probably shouldn't go all the way to Nugget Falls. And then from there, you take a little bus, or more like van, a nice van, with a wonderful tour guide, and you go over to Auk Bay for a whale watching excursion. And that was really fun, very cool. We had bad weather that day, so it was a little bit difficult to see the whales because a lot of times we had to be inside the boat. So that's rough, but that's okay. So then after the whale watching, they take you to the Gold Creek Salmon Bake, which is so delicious. If any of you have ever been to Gold Creek Salmon Bake, you know what I mean. The food is fantastic. You're gonna love the vlogs. Now, that was the end of the tour, but we were going gangbusters that day. We had a really long day in port in Juneau, and we were not done yet. So we went and bought the tram tickets. So we took the tram up to Mount Roberts. It was a cloudy day, and there was rain on occasion, but it wasn't clouded or fogged in where you couldn't see down. So it made for kind of a misty, cool sort of look, I guess you could say. We ended up going up there and kind of getting outside immediately and enjoying the hiking trails in the immediate vicinity of the Mount Roberts area. We went and saw Lady Baltimore, the eagle, but that was kind of depressing. And the woman who was explaining the eagle to us was hard selling for donations, and it was actually kind of uncomfortable. So we got out of there pretty quickly, didn't really spend any time in the gift shop or anything up at Mount Roberts, and just hiked and stopped and just soaked up that beauty and the drama of being up so high with those beautiful views. So that was spectacular. And then we still had a little time after that, and we did a little shopping. There's great shopping right outside of the ships in some of these places, and we got some good souvenirs there. So that was Juneau. Then came Skagway. In Skagway, we had made arrangements to do the White Pass and Yukon route, and we did the standard trip where you just do the excursion to the summit. And I cannot say enough about it, you guys. You got to do this. It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip for all ages. It's very comfortable. There is a restroom in every single train car. They also have little viewing platforms on the back of every train car where you can step outside, get some fresh air, take some really dramatic photos of some of the points of interest. So you're going to love the vlogs from Skagway. We had a blast. And we're also doing, most likely, a standalone video on the White Pass Rail experience, just because they gave us such an incredible opportunity to film that we took it. And my husband had 3 and 4 cameras going. We were really trying to capture all the beauty of that, so you're gonna love seeing all of that. Our last stop was in Victoria. Victoria was a little hit and miss because we actually didn't know if we were gonna be able to get off the ship that day because of some business that we had on board. However, we found out we were able to get off. We had booked a high tea at the Gatsby Mansion, and we made it to tea, and that was an exceptionally beautiful experience. It's much smaller than the Empress, and tea at the Empress is lovely, but it's also a lot less expensive. They had a special menu for our son. They made sure that his allergies were accommodated. We each had a different tea, and it was just lovely. And then to close out our day there, we took a pedicab back to our ship. We were so close to being at the end of the time that we had in Victoria that we were a little worried we weren't going to get back in time. And lo and behold, we made it. But boy, did we hit a huge line to get back on that ship. And you will laugh. When you see our vlogs, we kind of had to make light of it. It was, you guys, it was insane. The line stretched the length of the ship. It was crazy, but the weather was so amazing. Got back on the ship in Victoria, and it was like 85 degrees. We went up on the upper deck for sail away, and my husband and son played a game of those giant outdoor chess game, and they had happy hour, 2-for-1 cocktails. I got a couple cocktails. We were in summer clothes. I took my son's shirt off. It was so hot just to get him some vitamin D for a while, and we had the time of our lives. It was a great trip. The sea days were spectacular. So some of the highlights of the trip I just wanted to share with you, and then I'll switch back over entirely to the chat after I can kind of give you guys the highlights and then the cons of the trip. I promise I'll be back in the chat. Highlights were meeting the tour guides in all the ports. So many of the seasonal workers have interesting stories. We love talking to all of them. The renovations on Grand Princess were awesome. New carpet everywhere. The beautiful new princess beds, the coffee and cones area, and more. You'll see a lot of those in our ship tour, so that was great. We also got great souvenirs on this trip without breaking the bank. awesome, awesome, awesome souvenirs. So that was cool. And we're going to do an episode on our cruise gear channel, probably just showing you guys all the souvenirs, little things like blackberry honey and stuff like that, that we really enjoyed this time. For one reason or another, we're not souvenir people. We became souvenir people. That was cool. I gotta say, too, you guys, the drink prices on Princess are great. They had specials every day, new drinks for $8.50, and they were really good, high quality drinks. I just really have noticed that they're cheaper than any other line I've been on lately, and I'm impressed with that. The service on Grand Princess was exceptional. There were no exceptions to that. Every single person we encountered was happy, smiling, engaged in their work. They were fast. Our stateroom steward, it almost made us feel guilty how good he was and how attentive he was. Our dining staff treated our son like a king. You guys, he cut his food for him. That is just, I wasn't even comfortable with that. It was too much. So precious, so wonderful, just exceptional. And the crab cakes and the crab in the dining room, unbelievable. Did you want?
They would run to go open the door for us.
Yeah, when we were leaving the dining room, there was a secret exit, like it was like a service door. They would run from our table to the door to open it for us. Who has time for that? And we're just normal people. We don't deserve any of this. That's how they treat everyone, you guys. It was really, really special. We've had that experience with Princess most times. It's not unusual. And on our Alaska cruises, we've had excellent service. On Star Princess last year, same thing. Out of this world service. So that was a highlight. They felt like family by the end of the cruise. In the Horizon Court, the buffet on Grand Princess. You know how a lot of times buffets close down and there's nothing in the buffet during meals? In between meals. So let's just say they close at 3 and they don't reopen for dinner until 5:30. I hate that. Sometimes I get snacky and I need a snack. What they do on Princess on this ship is that they open this little snack bar in the buffet. So like between 3:30 and 5:30, you can go. You can make your own like little nachos. They have waffles. They have a salad bar, and they have sandwiches. They changed it up every day. It was so nice. We had dinner late. Dinner was at 7, so we would get hungry between lunch and dinner sometimes. And we were so active that we all needed fuel a lot of times. So that was a really great highlight. Also loved that secret door on deck 12. We had heard about that from Scott Singer. You guys will hear more about that when you get in there. And the excursions were just amazing. Every excursion we did was fantastic, and we'd do it again, and we would recommend it thoroughly. And lastly, highlights, embarkation and disembarkation were so smooth. So smooth. The traffic was terrible in San Francisco when we got there, but other than that, fantastic. So now, some of the not so great things and cons, which really had nothing to do ever with the ship. It was more just things that weren't perfect about our trip that I want to share with you. And one of those is me tapping my nose right now, and that is that I still cannot seem to shake whatever thing I have going on. I don't know if it's allergies. I don't know if I have a respiratory problem. I don't know if it's the fires in our area, but I have not felt good for about a month. I actually don't feel sick. I just feel symptomatic all the time. And unfortunately, I had a pretty bad cough the whole cruise. Pretty severe at times too, to the point where on embarkation day, I had to go to the drugstore before we left because I couldn't stop coughing. It was terrible. And I was on cough medicine the whole time. But I am not sick. I can exercise. I have been exercising, sleeping well, eating well. I don't know what it is, but it's probably time to go to the doctor and see if we can label this thing. So that stunk, but that's just life and it happens. The other thing that was kind of a bummer is that it was rainy. It was cold. I don't mind the cold, but the rain was a downer, and I don't think I'll ever book a cruise to Alaska in August again. We've been 4 for 4 on our May cruises being sunny and fabulous, and I think we're going to stick with that, you guys. And we're really bummed about Tracy Arm. We could not approach the glacier. And this is probably the third or fourth time this has happened. And I feel like I'm really turned off by cruises that go to Tracy Arm anymore. Because even though I've seen that glacier, there were thousands of people on that ship who went to Alaska to see a glacier. And they said it was too icy and we couldn't get back. They need to stop going to Tracy Arm and go somewhere else. Glacier Bay, go somewhere else. People were heartbroken, you guys. Much grumbling, my husband said. And he noticed it a lot because he was out filming. and kind of noticing it when the captain made the announcement. But you guys, you're only in Tracy Arm from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So everybody got up early to see the glacier, and then like, oh, nope, sorry. Had this been the first time, I'd be a little more forgiving about it, but I'm sorry. It was bad. People were really frustrated. So safety first, but if you are dead set on seeing a glacier, do not book a cruise to Tracy Arm. It may not happen, and you may see 0 glaciers. So that was a downer. The parking was too expensive in San Francisco, and it's a traffic hot mess to get into the port there. There's nothing they can do because the port is right on that waterfront area. It was a Saturday morning, but every day we've ever cruised, you think you're all hot and you're there, right? You're like, oh my gosh, we've made this long drive from wherever we're coming from. And then you just grind to a halt a mile before you get to Pier 27. And you're like, oh. Literally takes an hour to go about 2 miles. And we were so ready to get on that ship. So those are really the only cons from the whole trip. I gotta tell you, we nailed it with the packing game, you guys. Made a couple of mistakes, like not taking waterproof shoes for my son or a couple of extra tennies for my son, but our outerwear was amazing. We did not overpack. It might have looked like we did, and we said we did, but our bags were light. And what?
Nothing.
What? You were so impressed when we got everything back in the bags.
Yeah, it was good.
Then he's teasing me, you guys. Anyways, no, we nailed our packing game. I'm just gonna say I think we were great. Now, with that said, I think we're gonna try something crazy for Panama Canal, and I'm such a big talker, so I don't know if this will happen. But on our long 5-6 hour drive home from San Francisco, we decided we're going to try to go carry-on only to Panama Canal. It's a 10-nighter, but the laundry facilities are so great on Princess that I think that we can do it. So I want to say really quickly, too, before I turn my attention back to the chat, next live stream, alert! Next live stream is 2 weeks from today, Sunday, Saturday, 9/23. So Saturday, September 23rd at noon Pacific time. So that's all the housekeeping I have. That's all the yapping I have to do today. Now I want to see what you guys are up to. And maybe you can tell me what questions I missed. Saugusta's diagnosing me. Saugusta, you came back from Alaska with a sinus infection and bronchitis. It started in Skagway after ziplining. Yep. We've had it happen a lot after we've been to Alaska. And I don't know if it happens before the cruise or on the cruise. Who knows, right? It's really hard to say. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Jen, you didn't get to see the glacier. Oh, you're Jen. Oh, hi. Oh my gosh, I didn't recognize your name. Yeah, wasn't it a huge bummer? You guys, Jen was on the cruise with us. Jen and Scott are the ones I was telling you that I met at the pub lunch. We all met them, by the way. They were in line with us for the pub lunch, which I thought was really good, Jen. Did you guys like it? I thought it was really good. We ordered everything on the menu and like split it because the menu is only this long, but it was great. It was really good. Ginger, you said I look so happy. I am happy. I'm feeling well rested, Ginger. I think I really needed that vacation. I was really depressed when I first got home because I had post-cruise depression. You know, who doesn't? But I think I've sort of settled into really enjoying the memories and looking forward to seeing all of our own vlogs. I know that sounds silly because we were there, but I actually really look forward to the vlogs too because you forget all the details, you know? So anyway. Russell Sawyer says, how do you do formal from a carry-on? Wow, Russell, that's a good question. Okay, here's what I'm thinking, Russell. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack 1 pair of shoes for dinner for all 10 nights because I don't think I need 2 pair. So that's probably going to be the only way to do it. Rachel says I'm making a mistake doing carry-on only for 10 days. I'll have to buy clothes. Rachel, we do laundry on board. We will have 3 carry-on bags. There's 3 of us. So I think it can be done with some self-discipline. And we're not going to pack sodas or anything on that cruise. But you never know. I might change my mind. Let's see. Jen said, yeah, pub lunch was really good. Did you go the second time? They changed up the menu. They changed the menu? No, I didn't go the second time. I didn't know that. Are you serious? Do you remember what was different? You'll have to let me know. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, happy birthday, Michael, to you again. You got to join us for your post-cruise. Yeah. Let's see what else. Mike said Cheryl has post-cruise depression every time. And you have to book another cruise when she has that. You know that, Mike. It's critical. That's how you That's how you deal. Minky Photo says, switching itineraries. How are taxis in Puerto Vallarta? They're fine. They're great. We never hesitate to take the taxis. One thing I'd suggest is if you can walk out of the cruise terminal a little bit, you might save money. So get yourself out of that roundabout and onto the street and walk a little bit and then grab a taxi. You might save yourself $10 or so. But again, maybe not such a big deal. Bonnie said for Panama Canal, lightweight formal wear. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing, Bonnie. It's not, I mean, I always wear dresses to dinner anyway, so I'll just dress it up with jewelry and go with more lightweight. Yeah, that's pretty simple and very good. Matt Barter says 20 days to their wedding cruise. Wow, congratulations. Hope you guys are doing okay, not stressing too much. But I guess if you're getting married on a cruise, they're taking care of a lot of that for you, so that's wonderful. Jen said the second day on pub lunch, they had scotch, eggs, and prawns and chips. Okay, I miss prawns and chips. Ugh, that sounds so good. Yum. Wonderful. Elisa said, I work retail and can teach you how to pack. All right, bring some tips, Elisa. Megan Spuck says, anything fun to do in Cozumel or Grand Cayman? Oh my gosh, there's so many things. Megan, this comes up a lot on our live stream, so you can go back and look at some of the comments from before. But in Cozumel, there's a lot of great beach clubs. There's Mr. Sancho's. We like Nachi Cacombe. You can go to Playa Mia. Chankanaab is another one there. That's actually kind of a water park type of a thing. So Sharon has faith in me, guys, and she says, I can so do carry-on. You're doing that for your next two, mainly because of flying. Yeah, we're flying, and that's why, too. Gail says, I need to do a park and cruise in San Francisco area. Yeah, so Gail, what we do is we just drive to Gilroy, and we stay there, and then we drive the remaining 2 hours up because the hotels are cheaper in Gilroy. Really cheap. Under $100, by the way. Tiffany wants to know, how are taxis in Cozumel and Costa Maya? They're fine. You're fine there, too, Tiffany. Don't worry too much. Cruising with Wheels says, do you know what the weather is like in June in Alaska? It's good. May and June, I've been talking with Scott Singer about this, and we both are May and June Alaska fans now. It tends to be sunnier in June as well. I think what I would do is definitely do a rain layer, though. You guys should definitely, Kevin and Frank, take rain jackets, really good Columbia or North Face with hoods. And I also recommend a baseball cap underneath your rain layer so that you can keep the jacket off your face and away from, it's kind of hard to explain it, but I just think you need a baseball cap under your rain layer. Just trust me on that. And then maybe a puffy jacket layer is also good. So definitely. Gail wants to know, do we use up all our soda? Gail, I left 2 LaCroix in the fridge behind. I only drank 6 of them the whole cruise, and my husband didn't pack soda. He got the soda package. I forgot to mention that, you guys. $8 a day, approximately, and you could get all the soda you wanted, fresh juices, not fresh squeezed, but juices and mocktails for $8 a day. I think we got our money's worth, and we kept our packing game a little lighter, so that's good. Yeah. All right. I know I had to have missed a bunch of questions. Mr. Cruise Tips TV, bring it.
There's a few. We got an update from Shannon Steele that said she saw on cruiseline.com that Royal Caribbean and Norwegian have dispatched ships loaded with supplies to St. Martin to bring rescue supplies and pick up stranded
That's
people.
wonderful. Royal Caribbean. Shannon said Royal Caribbean has dispatched.
Royal Caribbean and Norwegian.
Royal Caribbean and Norwegian have dispatched relief efforts on their ships to St. Martin. Awesome. I love to hear how the cruise lines are stepping up right now and making it happen for people. It's wonderful.
Just as an update, it's shifting west as it goes through Cuba.
Okay, so a storm update, you guys. My husband is watching live updates, and the storm is shifting west as it goes through Cuba. Is it over Cuba right now still? It looks like it's over Cuba right now. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so a couple more
So
questions.
I know, Bonnie, you are absolutely in our thoughts and our prayers. My son said a little prayer for you last night before bed when we were, talking about this and thinking about this as a family, and we certainly hope that you do opt to evacuate if you determine that you need to. Bonnie, do you have a storm shelter, or are you just weathering this in your home? I want to make sure you're okay. Yeah.
And related to the St. Martin, Jolene Culp asked quite a while ago, she's headed to St. Martin, St. Kitts, San Juan, and Grand Turk, and she said she's wondering if she should rebook. Now, of course,
Okay.
that's her opinion, but
Julianne, you want to know if you should rebook. Jolene, I recommend you wait to rebook. Give the cruise line another week or so to let you know what their plan B is for your cruise. I recommend you try to wait it out. I don't know when your cruise is, so that may not be the best advice, but if you have a little time, Let them take a moment to determine the damage and to give you options before you rebook. I think it's best to wait in these situations where you can to communicate with the cruise line and see what your options are, okay? Yeah, stay safe, Michael Skidmore. My goodness sakes, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. And Zachary, I'm glad your parents got out of Fort Lauderdale and they went to Vegas. That's a long trip. I hope that they didn't have to pay too much in airfare to get that done. Yeah. Yep, definitely. Bonnie, you do need to keep us posted. Gail wants to know, what were our formal nights? Gail, do you mean like which nights? Okay. They were the second sea day in the beginning of the cruise, so the third night of the cruise, and then it was the 8th day. So the 2nd and the 8th, I believe, were the formal nights on this cruise. And I do want to tell you guys, I also mentioned this in the vlog when we're talking about dress code for Alaska, even on Princess, it's super duper casual. People wore t-shirts and jeans to dinner every night. Now, when I say that, I don't mean, I've been on cruise lines that are more casual, such as Carnival, where when I say t-shirts and jeans, I mean it in a different way. People looked nice, but they would wear sweaters, jeans, closed-toed shoes generally. No one looked sloppy, but they also were not wearing dress clothes every night. Did you want to say something, Mr. Gross Tips TV? You had a look? No? Okay. So those were the 2 formal nights. Let's see here. I want to catch up a little bit. Okay. David Guido says, should I rebook for February as I'm going to St. Martin? David, let's hold tight and wait just a wee bit, okay? You have some time. You probably haven't made your final payment yet. Let's see what your cruise line says and at what port that they propose as an alternative, or perhaps St. Martin will be a possibility. I don't think it will be, but I think that you should wait and just see what the cruise line proposes as an alternate port, okay? Don't do anything just yet. And the other thing to think about, the cruise lines are inundated right now with dealing with helping passengers who are in the middle of all of this. And I think you're going to get better service if you give it some time. Andrew Wang wants to know, how do you bring water on a Carnival cruise? You would take it in your carry-on luggage only, but you cannot take plastic. So my recommendation is that you don't, Andrew. Just buy the cheap water that they offer. Buy it beforehand. They have water for sale. So we have about 5 minutes left, you guys. We're going to start wrapping it up. Bonnie said, give your little man a kiss on the forehead from his Auntie Bonnie. I definitely will, Bonnie. He knows who you are, and he knows your fur babies too. We're definitely keeping you and everyone in Florida and the Caribbean and Texas and everywhere that is affected by this very close to our hearts, and we're following it, and we're really hoping for the best for everyone. It's a very difficult time. Let's see here. Hope that I answered your question there, Andrew, about the Carnival water. Now, I want to see if anybody had any other questions here that I've missed. Can you, if I have missed your questions, folks, please go ahead and leave it again here for me. I would really appreciate that. Anything else? Okay. Okay, sounds good. We're going to wrap up, you guys. Okay, again, next live stream is 2 weeks from today. I believe that is Saturday, September 23rd at noon Pacific time. We're going to be getting vlogs out to you guys as fast as we possibly can, at least one a week, maybe more. You'll love our Embarkation Day vlog. We had a great time going under the Golden Gate Bridge, as you have seen from following me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Yes, Rachel, thank you. I will take myself to the doctor. Really, really appreciate your care and concern. All of you guys have been really sweet about looking after my health. I definitely don't feel like myself. Cruising with Wheels, shoot your question fast. We have a couple more minutes. Go for it. Okay. All right, guys, let's see here. Okay. Baked Alaska for dessert? Yep, they sure did on the very last night. Yes, yes, yes. Great. I'm so glad, Bonnie, that you can breathe in Portland, Oregon from the fire, right? The winds have shifted to the west. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you guys have been dealing with that. We know the struggles of the fire. It's awful, terrible. All right, you guys, thank you all so very much. If you have a question that we missed, wait now at this point until this live stream is saved to a replay. Leave your question below. We'll be sure to get to you. Praying for all of you in Irma's path. Praying for all of you who were affected by Harvey. If there's anything you need from us, do not hesitate to ask. We are here for you. We love all you guys, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. But until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye.
Cruiser of the week.
hey, click me to subscribe.